freedom!
Could we stop the dog whistles, please, colleagues? And being Irish, I understand what you mean by freedom.
Brexit is and remains a tragedy, but this is not the end. We will never give up on our British friends. We will never forget them. And who knows, one day we might be able to say, welcome back UK, welcome home.
Grazie.
Thank you very much.
As you take the Brexit procedure forward, please be aware, please remember that 53% voted in this election for parties that wanted another referendum on this. Every opinion poll over the last year except one has shown that a majority of the British public would vote to remain if we had a new referendum.
Sadly, for all of us who think the European Union offers the best future for the UK and the rest of Europe, we now have to face the reality of Brexit.
This is, of course, a sad moment in the history of Europe, but it is also a democratic choice that we must respect. But it also proves that Mr. Farage is wrong in saying that Europe is a prison of nations.
I hope there will no longer be a willingness in the EU institutions to be taken in by a few people waving blue flags, or of past political leaders coming to Brussels to peddle false messages to what became an echo chamber of self-delusion.
Where is your political space? Where do you go when you will leave the Parliament?
Thank you all for your support of those of us in the UK who have fought to remain. We continue to believe that the UK would have a better future within the EU. Mr Farage is wrong. The future is in fantastic democratic institutions like this, and I hope that one day we will return. Thank you.
And Mr Johnson, with his 43% of the vote, only 1% more than Mrs May achieved 2 years ago, takes that as a mandate to go forward for a very hard Brexit. And make no mistake, he's going for a hard Brexit because he has already gone back on a previous promise to say that the House of Commons would vote on extending the transition period to allow time for negotiations. He's already saying we will not extend, we will make it illegal to extend. He doesn't want to negotiate a proper partnership or trade deal. His strategy in the negotiations seems to be, give me what I want or I'll shoot myself in the head. It's not going to work. It's going to lead to a disastrous Brexit. And finally, Madam President, may I endorse what Guy Verhofstadt said. This Parliament should not endorse any deal until the rights of citizens, both ways around, are secured. Thank you.
And I think one thing that's very clear from what Mr Corbett said, that unless there's goodwill and cooperation across the table, the outcome could be grave. So I would appeal to Mr Johnson not to be putting arbitrary and unnecessary deadlines on the negotiations, and to say to him that getting Brexit right is more important than getting Brexit done. And I hope that can happen.
As many have said, the UK election has given a tragic clarity on Brexit. Johnson did not get a majority of the votes. Many more UK citizens voted for parties opposing his Brexit. However, our system has given him a large majority, and Brexit will now take place on the 31st of January. I'm deeply grateful to the efforts of the Council and Mr Barnier in particular for their efforts to keep as close a relationship as possible. And I'm particularly concerned about the impact on cooperation in scientific and academic research. Partnership between European countries has been incredibly beneficial in advancing scientific and technological knowledge to the benefit of the whole world. I know European institutions are concerned that the UK will try to undermine standards on workers' rights and environmental protection, and we share those concerns. We will try in the UK to do all we can to maintain those crucial workers' rights and environmental protections. Finally,
our duty now is to concentrate ourselves in our common future. And that means to negotiate with the United Kingdom sound and friendly economic and political future relation that can serve our common interests, that can also safeguard the integrity of the single market and our high levels of environmental, social and labour protection. This is the key for successful negotiations, and only by the end of 2020 we will know if the no-deal Brexit scenario is really out of the table.